Morning, everybody, and welcome to the January 28th edition of Dawn Patrol. January's almost over, Bobby. Welcome with Bob, my co-host Bob Hoey. Ned is not, Ned Tommy's not here yet. We never know. He could walk through that door any minute now, but
Yeah, we'll give him 50.
yeah.
Could be traffic. I talked to Ned on the phone yesterday. Sounds great.
Yeah. So it's not a bad morning out there.
Warm.
Compared to the cold mornings we had the last week or so. Might get a little snow tonight, but we're headed into February, and spring's on its way. So it's been a cold January, you know. So what's going on, Bobby? What do you hear? The president's on fire, huh?
Oh, he's got everybody worrying. Yeah, he's done more, I believe, in the past 2 weeks than the past administration has done in years. I mean, he's shaking everything up. Education, they'll be shaking that up a little bit too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But we live in Massachusetts, Tom.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
a rough state to live in at
Yeah,
this time.
especially with him as president. They're not going to do anything, support anything he does. It's a blue state, and it's never going to change. You know, so the governor's going to buck him. The mayor of Boston is going to buck him, and see, the mayor has opposition in Boston. That's Bob Kraft's son's running against her. That should be interesting. She should have a lot of money, you know, but can she be beat? I don't think so, you know. But we were just talking before we went on that the local races are starting to heat up. And she gave me the name. His name is Sixto de Jesus. Is that right, John?
Sixto de Jesus.
Yeah, he's a bank manager in Enterprise.
Enterprise Bank, in the connector.
Yeah, and he's running for city council. So we have some names out there.
And he's running in this district?
No, he's running.
In
Is it this district?
No, not
John?
District 4. I'm sorry, District 5.
It's too bad we couldn't get him in this district. Jeez.
Kim always has someone running against her. She won't be easy to beat. She worries right down to the last minute because she is the one that always has someone coming into the race. You know?
Yeah, but she always pulls it off. I don't think she's beatable.
The thing I love about her is that she has the school committee backing. She's been there for a few years. She knows about the problems of our schools, you know.
Yeah.
And never get you again. He's done a lot, and the mayor has done an incredible job, both of them.
Yeah.
And the whole city council, I guess I should say. But to me, there's been a few that stand out that have they got something done for the schools. We have been maintaining the schools, and it's like. You know how that issue is in Lowell, Tom. The schools, high school, right?
Yeah,
I mean, It's crazy. But no matter where we built that high school, I don't care where you build it, Cawley or where it is now, you would have had roof leaks, boilers that don't work. I don't know why. I always think it's because they take the low bidder or whatever. But look at one of the newest schools built. It's been around a while now, but one of our newest schools, the Morey School. I'm going back at least 10, 15 years ago when the school was only maybe 10 years old. Not even, maybe 5 years old. I went down in the cellar of the school, 3 boilers, 2 of them did not work, oil all around it. Roofs were leaking. It's happened in all our schools. And then finally, after, I don't know, maybe 100 years, we're maintaining our schools more than ever. They keep talking, Corey Robinson, Eric Gitcher, they keep talking about we need a central place to do the maintenance of our 28 schools alone, never mind the rest of the city of Lowell's buildings. We have to maintain them. If not, they're going to turn into something like the old senior center downtown there. What's the name of that, John? Help me out.
Baker.
Baker Center.
Don't we have a gentleman that was just hired that is in charge of maintenance? When you say that, I don't know what you mean as far as they got to have a maintenance. He's not in charge.
You're talking about John Leahy?
Yeah.
No, John Leahy's in charge of the custodians. That's
They don't
schools.
maintain.
No,
clean
them, sweep them, wax them, strip the floors.
Nothing as far as
No, that's not his job.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Lands and Buildings on the city side is in charge of, coming to fix something.
And when you said they go with the low bidder, don't they have to go with the low bidder?
I'm not sure what the rules are anymore.
Yeah.
I haven't been around a long time, but it seemed like that's what they always did. Try to save money, take the low bidder, and that tells me why you have a bad roof or anything else.
Yeah.
You don't, just because you're getting the lowest bid doesn't mean you're getting the best job. So we've come a long way. The city council and the mayor, I tell you this every time I sit down. Danny has done a great job. Great job.
Oh, yeah.
And dealing with someone like Eric, I think they're doing beautiful. Eric's not easy to work with, I bet.
No.
And I told you this, and I'll say it again, just so my friends know. There's a group of people that want Eric gone.
Oh, absolutely.
Believe me, they want him gone.
Absolutely, they do, because he presses the buttons and he asks the
He
questions.
just
and
works. All he does is work.
Same reason why
Unbelievable.
Josh Taylor probably isn't liked in Drake. He asks the tough questions. He doesn't care. That's not going to change. They're not going to change their ways. You're never going to see them change their ways. You know.
The thing that kills me most about Eric Gitch is how he doesn't get paid because he works out at the Voc as a city
Not
council.
right.
They
Not
should
right.
change that rule.
All it takes is one city councilor to make a motion.
Yeah, I hear you.
All it does, and his colleagues hate his guts. That's my takeaway.
Yeah, I don't think they hate his guts. They just a little jealous, I think. It's more jealousy, but you got to do your job.
Yeah.
He does that. You know, he does a lot of research, and he's not wrong too many times. I try to catch him wrong. Most of the time he's right. So, but I'm happy, and I think if Danny ever run for the mayor again, he's going to be tough to beat. I think, you know, because of how
Well,
good the job he's
it will
done.
all depend on the makeup of the council too. I mean, who's going to be there? Who's not going to be there? You know, I mean, who's going to run for re-election? Do you think all 11 will run for re-election? If you had a bet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think. I don't see anyone, maybe if anyone was to disappear, maybe it would be the
Sakari?
ex-mayor. Yeah,
Sakari,
Sakari.
yeah.
He might
Yeah.
find a better job. You know, because some of your councilors have some tremendous jobs, you know. They have some pretty good jobs that gets paid by the taxpayer, too, you know. But that's the way it's always been. It's nothing new. But I'm really happy as far as the city council goes. And I just hope we go after drugs a little bit more. And I think this, if you keep saying it, we keep talking about it. Look at how when we banged the South Common, every day we talked about the South Common, the South Common. What happened? Eric Itcher puts a motion in to keep tents and people 1,000 feet away from a school. Well, I think he's done the job.
Yeah.
Maybe not 100%, but about 98%.
Well, even when I come in here in the morning, you don't see anybody down there anymore like you used to.
It's
you
just
know?
around
They'd
the
be all around. They'd
around
be,
the
you know.
Elliott Church, and that's it. But me,
Are they still
my
congregating
opinion,
up
it
there?
would always be. I'd be constantly talking about let's get these drug dealers, not the kids that are in a tent that are addicted to every drug you can imagine. Get the people coming into the city to make money,
Yeah,
and we can do it because they all rat each other out. Everybody would rat somebody out.
sure.
And I don't know why they don't do it a little bit more. I have some reasons why I think they don't, but I won't say it on live TV. But the police department needs to start cracking down on drug dealers. It's pretty simple. I mean, I catch it all the time. You know, they sell illegal beer right out the window of their cars.
Wow.
They sell loose cigarettes and anything else you can dream of. And to me, Tom, the housing project, Bishop Markham, is a big part of our issues.
Yeah.
It just is. It's
You hear
I-
stories all the time
Yeah.
about it, and it's a shame because that you know, well, the housing. I don't know what type of security they have over there. It sounds like they don't have any security except for I don't even know if they have cameras. You know?
it's just a matter of where you put certain people. You know, like if you look at the North Common, I lived in Shaughnessy as a kid, okay? But if you look at the North Common, it's mostly really people that have no money, real low income type of people. But you won't find a tent in their area. Why? Because they wouldn't allow it. The people that lived there would not allow it. But in Bishop Markham, you have a mixture of all types of people. A lot of people addicted to drugs and alcoholic problems. It should be, you know, to me, it should be senior citizens and handicapped people. That's it. Everybody else, you got to fend for yourself, and it's not going on like that. But that's just something else that will come, especially if the city council keeps doing the job they're doing. They're doing a pretty good job.
It
I
seems
just
they are.
don't want them to take any more money off us, you know, no more
Yeah.
taxes, but we're going to,
There seems to have been a little controversy with Paul Rethiem and his association with that group that's trying to save the Smith Baker Center. I know I heard about that. They, I guess this could be a possible conflict. He accused himself from voting.
Yeah, there's
So,
no doubt about
yeah.
it. There was a conflict, but yeah, someone's got to come out in his district, though. That's the thing. Who's
Yeah.
in that district?
Right. But other than that, he's done a pretty good job, right? I mean, from what you've seen and heard, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
You know.
I just look at things a little different, Tom. There's
Yeah.
only a few doing their job on that city council, but
Yeah.
they're pulling it off because the other ones are just following.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to
Yeah.
vote your way because they know you're right most of the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, Eric Gitch, imagine, Tom, he couldn't get. I always like to bring this back up during one budget hearing. It might have been 2 budget cycles ago. He tried to take a line item out of the budget, his pay, what he would get paid if it's 25,000.
Yeah.
He just tried to take that out of the budget, couldn't get a second.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. Then he could get then 2 people followed him, and 3 people. So that number will definitely increase because people want to get elected, and this is the year, the
Yeah.
election year.
Yeah.
They'll start to follow Eric a little bit more because they know he's right most of the time.
Now, what is the reason he can't get paid? Is because the
He works
city
at-
funds?
yeah,
but
he
the
runs
city
the,
funds. I know the folk school, but
You
they.
can't get 2 paychecks, I guess. Remember, we used to, like guys used to double dip all the time, work for the city and work for the county jail.
Yeah.
And, I know a few of them that did that, and they get 2 pensions.
Yeah.
I wish I did that. I only get 1 pension. Pensions are nice.
Well.
They come in every month.
You get Social Security.
No, I know that, but I'm saying is a job with a pension. That's
Yeah.
all I ever preached to my granddaughters, and I'm going to preach it to my grandson. Try to get a job like I had. Especially where I could leave in 20 years. What are you kidding me? That's a beautiful pension. You know who got me that? One of the person that was leading asked me at the time, in my eyes, another Rourke. Andy Rourke.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was one of the leaders, and Arthur Sullivan, and all kinds of people that helped me get a nice pension. And I only had to do 20 years in prison. Wasn't that bad. Wasn't good either, believe me. Wasn't good. I wish we could take some of those inmates and send them back to their original country,
Yeah.
because we have some real bad people in our jails, believe me. Yeah, but we're not putting people in jail no more. Not in this state anyways.
Yeah.
That's why these prisons have closed. Did you catch, Tom, recently, it was in the news a lot, about the prison guard that was stabbed like 20-something
Yeah,
times at
yeah.
Susan Baranowski?
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
ever watch that replay again, and I bet you John could find that someday, it was amazing how tough those prison guards were. I mean, I've watched a lot of fights in my life. That guy was getting stabbed repeatedly, but they never stopped fighting for each other.
Yeah.
Boy, you talk about, that's what I love about being a prison guard or being in the Army. You got your buddies back.
Yeah.
And that was the best I ever seen. I've witnessed a few fights in my life, too, believe me. That was the best I ever seen. Yep, and they both survived. That's awesome.
They always defend each other and help each other out. The president's getting his, he's getting his cabinet picks approved. More like the close one was the Hexeth. He was, is that how you say his name? Secretary of Defense. The vice president had to break that tie. But Kennedy goes before the committee tomorrow. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But he's getting them on the line.
I'm pro-Kennedy.
Oh,
Always,
yeah?
what he's saying. He might not be right all the time. What,
No.
Trump's right all the time?
Nobody is.
How
Nobody
about
is.
Trump's Iron Dome over America?
Yeah.
Can you picture that? Just talking about it is incredible. An Iron
He's
Dome
done
over
everything
this
he said
country,
he
how
was
can
going to
you do that?
I mean, watching that inauguration last week, and he signed the executive orders. He said what he was going to do, and he did it.
he's
So
unbelievable.
a lot of people aren't happy with it. Did you see where there was a border patrol cop blown away yesterday, or was it Sunday?
No.
Pulled over somebody up in Vermont area. Unbelievable.
The best thing I've seen all week was just recently that Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
She's like worth 1.2 billion, crying.
Yeah.
She took that right down, off the internet.
She did?
Yeah,
I
took
saw it last night on Fox. Yeah.
Tommy, you want to read this one?
Good morning. I still can't understand why the school department bought a school on University Ave when you have schools with boiler problems, leaky roofs. Just doesn't make sense.
Well, the sense to that, I think they're talking about John Dark's school there.
Yeah.
The sense to that is it will save us millions over over time with special needs. And I'm glad you sent that text message in, because one of the biggest issues in my head is saving the old Lowell Trade School. I don't want that to go to a nonprofit, and it will if we don't watch out. We need to keep that for our own special needs people that are in the high school. We have a lot of issues in this city.
That was the freshman academy, right?
Yeah.
Now, what are they using it for now? Special
Freshman
needs?
academy still, I believe.
Oh, they
I don't
didn't
think
move
they
over?
moved
Oh,
all the
okay.
children over
All right,
yet.
okay.
But they're going to move them over, and when they do, nonprofits will be out after that just for childcare and stuff like that, and we need it for special ed.
Yeah.
That's why they bought that one on University Avenue, like that person just texted, because some children go to a school, let me think of one, the Lighthouse School in Chelmsford. One child, about $400,000.
Special needs, it's a special needs school.
Yeah, yep.
And
And
when you
one child, because the child needs are that bad,
Bobby,
400
every
grand.
school kid is 17 grand.
Yeah,
Every kid in the kindergarten at the Rogers School or whatever, preschool, I don't care, 17, maybe not preschool, but kindergarten is $17,000 each they
right.
get.
you're
Now
right.
you get 20 in a class. That's a hell of a lot of dough.
Oh, it's big money.
Administration for the city of Lowell school system, way out of control.
No doubt.
Okay,
I mean,
administration for the city of Lowell, way out of control. We have way too many pencil pushers and not enough broom pushers. Oh, the boiler's broken. Well, we don't have enough maintenance people. We have plenty of pencil pushers.
What's the superintendent make? Do you know?
Yeah, about
Too
the
much.
same.
How much?
250.
250.
Roughly ballpark.
When I was waiting
much.
for you guys, I was looking at the Chelmsford Town Report. The superintendent of schools in Chelmsford makes $228,000
Too
a year.
much. I mean,
No, but
I
I'm just
like
saying,
compared
compared
these
to Law,
guys.
I'm surprised he doesn't get more. You know?
I like these guys, but it's too much money.
You know when that happened?
You know what?
You know when
Go ahead,
that
Bob.
happened, when we changed that in Lowell, was when Dr. Kafawi was here in the schools, another one that got his neck cut off. He was the one that came in and got more than the city manager at that time, and I won't mention the city manager's
Oh,
name.
Kevin Murphy?
You did real quick. But when they seen that right away, they went, oh no, superintendent of schools cannot get paid more than the city manager. Well, I think.
What is that rule?
Doesn't the police
Yeah.
chief and the fire chief get more than the city manager in some communities? I believe so.
Well, some captains do too.
Yeah.
Some lieutenants do. You know?
Yeah, you're going back to special ed, Bob. I know you
Yeah.
hammer away at that all the time. And I don't follow the city school committees, but I follow the city council. Is the school committee pushing for more? When you say a building for the, I don't hear it. I
And
don't
that's-
hear it.
Yeah, you know why, Tom,
I mean-
too? It's the biggest part of the budget. It's growing faster than anything else. And they know the needs of the children. Don't forget something. John mentioned, I love when he mentions the top part of it.
Yeah.
We're top heavy. No doubt, I can't debate that with him. But what I always look at is that number out of 200 and approximate numbers now, $255 million budget, about 80, I'd say 87 cents right now, maybe 88 cents out of every dollar goes to pay staff, all staff.
Yep.
And when I look at that number, I go, wow, we do a really bang-up job for only 12 cents left.
Right, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We're not perfect, but elementary, you want to pay, there's no doubt about it, if you got a little bit of money, send your kid to the Immaculate, but don't be afraid of Lowell High School. I'm telling you.
You can send your kid to St. Mike's.
St.
or
Mike's.
the Hellenic.
No, if you have the money, send them to those schools if you want to, but do not say, oh boy, I'm not going to Lowell High School. Because your child's going to get two
You
things.
hear that all the time.
Of
but
course
you're
you
right,
do.
Right, I don't get it.
But I'm telling
and
you,
I know
when
that every school has a mixed. What do you want
If
to
you
call
go
it?
down there and
Bag
take
of
high
people.
honors, and if you go down there and take the AP courses and everything else, and we give $500,000 out every year to children in scholarship money, it's an amazing school, okay?
Yeah.
Does it have major issues? Without a doubt. You could just watch the children walking in and out of school, the way they're dressed today, it's unbelievable.
But it's
Just
allowed,
that
Bobby.
issue
Bobby, it's
alone.
allowed. Why don't they have a school dress code? They can't have a school. You're
only-
right. You're right.
the
I
only
see
time-
it. I'm saying they're going to school in their pajamas are kind of allowed.
And the
Have you
only
seen TV news? Some of them dress in their pajamas on TV news.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only time I can remember in the past 20 years, someone running that high school that thought about dress code was Brian Martin. He maybe did the best job out of anybody, but that's just one issue. That's just one issue down at the high school. Special ed's a big issue to me.
Yeah.
You know, they just moved, they were in the bottom floor of the old building. They moved them over to their new building. Just
Yeah.
change for some of those special ed kids is tough. It's not easy. You'd have to go see it to believe it. I believe that we should separate that, the real special needs from schools because they're not getting what they need, because you automatically try to knock when it's the number one thing in the budget, Tom, everybody's looking where can I save a dollar in that budget? You have to.
Right.
It's just natural, and it's growing. It's growing, and there's a lot of big issues.
I think the school committee makes the mistake of not demanding from their accountant. I want a breakout of how much money we actually spend on the classroom and how much money we spend on administration. For
And I'd
each,
like-
for special needs.
I'd like to add one thing. Well, yeah, I was just going to say
Because
that.
you can
Give us a breakdown of special needs. I'm saying that to the school committee right now. Give us a breakdown of where you spend all your money on special needs.
You can bet your Bippy that a lot of money spent on administration for special needs. Bob, you got these two.
Home run. The Great Flowers a couple of weeks ago had a chart what the schools pay for administration cost.
I didn't see that.
What are the great flowers?
Those prisoners who stabbed a correctional officer should get solitary confinement for 23 hours a day. I agree.
Feels like we ran out of oil. You guys cold?
No.
I thought it was a little chilly in here when I walked in.
Really? I thought
Yeah.
this is beautiful.
You walk in without a coat on and when it's zero up.
You know,
John didn't pay his heating bill.
Yeah, I guess not. I'm gonna go check this.
That's why,
Wow.
and since he's gone, why I love to bring up Eric Getchell or Danny Rourke, okay? Danny Rourke's motion to hire Liam Skinner, to me, is the best.
Home run.
Home run
No.
ain't the word for it, Tom.
Yeah.
It's not the
But he
word.
did it right away. He didn't mess around. He
No,
did
no.
it right at the, I think it was the second
Immediately.
meeting. Yep.
Immediately.
And then he tried to bring back neighborhood schools. That didn't go.
Yeah,
Danny tried to
yeah.
propose that. Danny's going to run out of post. I
No,
can't see
it
anybody.
was Goo Goo.
It was what?
Goo Goo is my favorite sister-in-law's nickname.
Yeah.
She had the thermostat on 59.
Whoa!
Good for her.
She's a saver.
No, she
You
likes
know-
it cold when she sleeps.
I always look at the little things, Tom, to really see how a guy is, and I followed Liam Skinner for a long time.
Yeah.
I can say this, and I had a couple of good principals when I was a young kid. The best principal I ever seen in my lifetime is Liam Skinner.
Really?
And then when Danny brought that motion up to give him that job, I said, this is beautiful. Now, everybody in the system said, hey, there's a career ladder in Lowell. Why are they always going to look around the world for someone to run our schools when you got someone right here in Lowell?
Yeah.
And for our buddy, right, George Anthes, go down and go by the school department now. You won't see no more Rainbow Coalition on the window.
Oh, those are down?
And Black Lives Matter. That's gone since Liam Skinner's been here, okay?
Really? In the
oh, yeah.
on Merrimack Street?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I haven't said that yet on TV, but
I'll
I
have to
wanted
check
to
that
say
out,
it, and I
yeah.
just did.
Well, remember the sign at Drive George Anthes? What school was it? The Riley
That
School?
was Riley School, and I ratted that out, too. I think I called John McDonough or somebody. It was, remember the guy on WCAP? Help me out, boy.
Kevin Dunn?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Kevin Dunn that gave me a call.
Yeah.
And he said, Bob, you see what's at the Riley School on the sign? I said, no. He says, go look at it. And then I did. And I forget if I told John McDonough or I told George Anthes. And then we had about a good month or two on that issue alone.
Yeah.
George was beside himself.
And
without a
those
doubt.
those signs are allowed. What am I trying to say here? They should have anybody's signs up there if they wanted it. But they're right. They shouldn't be in the school department windows. I mean, it'd be like having a sign, Salvation Army Radiothon, because they shouldn't be allowed to do that stuff. It's a separation of church and state, or whatever you want to call it. It's, so.
And
But
then-
I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I like to go around, and I know a lot of people, obviously, spending 7 years in the schools, all the teachers, and the ones I think are the very knowledgeable teachers, and I go and ask them questions. Like,
Yeah.
what's the number one issue? Give me the number one issue right now. And I'm telling you, most of the time, discipline is at the top of their list.
Yeah.
Teachers,
Yeah.
that's the one they tell me.
Bobby,
And now-
I am told
Now-
the kid still goes back to class.
Well, like I just said, don't forget, it's only been a few years, right, that Liam's been here. Nobody had more respect respectful kids than his kids, the daily school. If they came to the Kaplan Stocklosa Knowledge Bowl, they would come in a suit and a tie. The girls would be in a nice dress. It was unbelievable. They rubbed off on even the Robinson School, another school that comes there, very respectful now. All right? To me, the best school in our city, elementary school-wise, only because of, not just because it's the highest scoring school, the Maury School. That's another principal that I think, without a doubt, could run our system when Liam leaves. She's unbelievable. And you know what I love about her, Tom? She can see the school from her house.
Oh, she lives up on Wilder Street, that area.
She lives in that area.
Now, Bobby,
I remember her telling me that.
Hey
said
guys,
that-
last night we went to Wendy's, the Monday night dinner club. We were supposed to go to McDonald's. The McDonald's that I picked was the McDonald's on Rogers Street. It's closed for renovations.
Yeah, every once in a while they close them down, and then they rebuild it.
I get started, so my cell phone starts. I'm on my way there, me and Fred Wilkie, on our way to McDonald's. I think Eileen Del Rossi called me first. She said, "Hey, McDonald's is closed." I said, "Oh, backup plans, Wendy's." So we went to Wendy's on Rogers Street. Fantastic.
Never a bad meat, but Wendy's is the best of the three.
Fantastic.
Meaning McDonald's,
Oh my
Whitbread,
God, was
the best.
they had
Best burger, best French fries, best.
Well, you can pick your soda. I haven't been able to have
Oh yeah, they have the machine there. Yeah.
diet
Yeah.
root beer anywhere, but they got it there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was tickled pink. So we had a good time, and everybody walked out of there with a smile. And they got a rating of 9.3, and tops is 10.5. So
Rebecca wasn't there last night.
No, Rebecca banged out. A lot of people banged out.
Yeah.
Next week we're going to go to Angel Garcia. He's one of our members, and he got a new job at a restaurant in Drake. Let me tell you the name of it. We're going there next week.
Restaurant in Drake It. New restaurant in Drake It.
No, it's like a bar.
Huh.
It's here someplace. Primo Pub.
Oh, Primo's Pizza. It's turned into yes.
So we're going to this place.
It was Primo's Pizza.
Primo Pizza Pub, but that Primo Pub. That's where we're
Yeah.
going to go. 149 Parker Ave, Drake and Mass. We're going there next Monday.
Primo's Pizza started out as a hole-in-the-wall pizza shop in Drake at about in the mid-2000s or so, and then they opened up a bigger place, and now they've expanded to a nice. My wife and I are dying to go there with a lounge and everything. They say it's quite the place. Bobby, you said last week you're definitely running for school committee. What will be your number one issue? Would it be special needs? If you had to pick an issue, special needs issue, would that be the special needs children?
My number one issue would be I'm a solid vote for Liam Skinner, number one.
Yeah.
That always helps when your contract's coming up because
Right.
I'd vote for him in a minute, only because the teachers have told me discipline's the issue.
Right.
So what I say is there was a guy we had at one time, Dr. Kafawi, all right, Tom? And he's the one that got rid of the Cardinal O'Connor School. It was
Yep.
an alternative school at the time.
Yeah.
At one time, the school was doing its job.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden, the discipline went away.
Sure.
They were allowing the children to play basketball, even though they're the same kids that kick someone's teeth in at the Sullivan School,
Oh,
you
boy.
know?
Yep.
But Dr. Kafawi said, you know what? There's only like 10 kids in this school. Send them back to the Sullivan School, and I'll send the staff there that can help those children there in their own school.
Yep.
And I think every school should have that one classroom. This is going to be like, you're going to think, oh, he's talking like a prison guard. One classroom for the kids that disrupt classrooms.
Right.
But have the right people working in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there's pros around. They know how to deal with kids like that,
Yeah.
like myself was.
Yeah.
Put them in a classroom. You're not going to play with the other kids. You're not going to do anything until you learn how to act. They're
Sure.
not getting it at home.
Sure.
They're
Sure.
not getting it at home.
Right.
And most of the time, when you meet these bullies, Jim Peters, I love you, buddy, if you're out there. When you meet bullies in school, and all I ever did in my life, I don't care what anybody says, is I fought the bullies. You know, I had many bullies at the Rogers School looking for my lunch money. Oh,
Hold on.
boy.
Hold the horses.
I hope they don't throw me on there.
Hold the horses. Hold the horses.
What's this?
Lisa Demers just put this up.
That was the...
Tell us about the polar plunge.
This thing was incredible this year. Some great people there. You just see all your old friends and relatives, and
Somebody brought a drone, and I'll tell you, you can't beat a drone for an event like, watch this. Let's go swimming. Look at this.
Yeah, it was incredible. I did not dive in. I walked up to about my belly, a little bit higher toward my chest. No way I was diving in. It was very cold. Joe Espinola, you know him, Tom.
Yeah. Good.
He saved me because when you get out of the water, the first thing you're doing is running for your clothes, and I had my clothes way up in the back there. But they had a bus that took us from where we parked at a church over to the Polar Plunge, and it was it had
Now, they give you
TVs
a
in
place
it.
where you could change and everything? Or did you have to?
No, there was a place there. The people that let us use their home.
Right.
I'm trying to think. I just know their last names. Coughlin and McCabe own it. They're married together. One's a teacher, and I don't know what the other person does.
Okay.
But Coughlin is the man that I
Very
know.
generous to do that.
Yeah, they open up their home to us. It's a really beautiful place. I've never been in it. I didn't want to go in their home.
Tony sent me an email. They made over 100,000.
Yeah,
Because I
but it's you know,
$100,000?
over 100 grand. Yeah.
I just like the ones that are way out. You know, the ones that went deep, because it
this
was low
character right
tide.
here, look at this
Yeah, it was low tide, very cold water.
I'll run that one more time if you didn't
It's
see it.
amazing how nothing happens to you. I'd almost be afraid to have a heart attack or something. You know what I mean? But does it sting, Bob?
I'm just looking right there, though. What would you say, Tom? Couple of hundred?
Oh, easy.
Yeah?
Easy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great time.
And
Lot
I mean,
of
I'm going to
laughs.
say probably 100 jumped in, maybe 150, because a lot stayed back. I know a lot,
So let me finish with that.
11,000 views on this video.
Yeah, so listen, when I left the water, I grabbed my clothes and I'm saying, oh, I hope that shuttle bus comes quick to take me back to my car. And I'm standing on the corner out there and I said, oh, you know what, I'm not going to wait. I got to walk. My toes were starting to freeze up.
Yeah.
So I stopped walking. All of a sudden, someone in a beautiful, either a Tahoe or a black Suburban, pulled up next to me
Joe
and said,
Espinola?
yeah.
Yeah.
Joe said, do you need a ride? So you don't know how,
Must
Joe,
have been
that
nice
was
and
the
warm
best
in
thing
there.
that ever happened to me that day. Thanks for the ride.
Yeah.
I thought it was his limo service, but he told me that's his son's business.
That's his son's business, yeah. Joe used to be a member of the regional school committee.
Yeah, he saved my day.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's got the gift of gab. He was doing a radio. I don't know if he still does the show.
He
with
used to
Marty
do every
though.
week with Marty. I think he does. I'll have to ask my son Timmy, but he'll
I always liked Joe. He's a good conversationalist.
yeah.
Retired cop, too.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's all he flashed on there.
Huh.
Well, if I see more Bobby, I'll certainly put it up. At least
I
the
hope you
commercial
don't.
got
I
up.
hope you don't. I was dressed like
It's from you.
Bob, your
local
face
to
was all over
Nashville.
Facebook. You
Yeah,
saw,
like
you
a-
see him on Facebook with
yeah,
his
it was
outfit?
like a bag woman, yeah, something like that, right? That's what people were calling me. I had a green hair and,
Deepa Weenie.
you know, I had someone did call me that.
Yeah.
And then I had a mink fur on and I left it on the beach and someone got it back for me, so.
Your wife must
It
think
went
you're
good.
nuts, huh? Because my wife with the guy was nuts.
She said to me, you got to watch out, don't dive in. And believe me, I thought about it again because diving in that water is a real shocker. Walking in is a little
Well,
bit
don't
easy.
they say you're better off getting all wet instead of part wet? No?
I don't know what
No.
they think, but after I felt that
Yeah.
water, Tom, I said, my head
What
ain't
was the
going
temperature, do you know? Did anybody take the temperature in
I
the water?
guess-
Now,
Oh, there you go.
There he is.
Yeah, it was
There's your
unbelievable.
future school committee, ladies
From
and
it
gentlemen.
looks like Shed Park.
That's my house, right on Stratham Street near I call it part of Shed Park.
And this is when you're off to the Polar Plunge.
That's when I was taken off to the Polar
Where'd you
Plunge.
get that coat on?
I only tried, my grandson threw that at me. I don't know where he got it, but he threw that at me to
Was
wear.
it toasty?
Not really.
No,
No.
it wasn't.
Underneath, I took that off before I went in the water, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just to get together and some of the things people say about you, it's beautiful. It's all good. And look at it's for a
And
great
you
cause.
said it was
It's for
good.
a great
And what you
cause.
said was good about there really weren't a lot of politicians that are regular Joes and regular of the family, and that's
Kim Scott says, "Love it, Bob."
Yeah, I tried to remember everybody that's there, but the people that stand out to me, it's Kevin Howe and McMahon, Eddie
Yeah.
McMahon. Those
Yeah.
type of people worked hard for this.
well, that's that
you
whole
know?
crowd. Eddie
Yeah.
McMahon.
My friend Sean Kremen, that's why I was dressed like that.
Yeah.
Because Sean usually is the one that makes everybody laugh. I said, I'm going to see if I can, beat out Sean there because he's a great promoter. Sean Kremen.
Right, right.
Great promoter when it comes to raising money for people. We had someone die in the prison, very young guy. I just call him Bonzi. he was like my son. I felt inside that prison, and he died.
Yeah.
Yeah, he died, and Sean helped out in raising a lot of money. We had a road race out of the Elks in Lowell.
Yeah.
Raised over 20 grand, and that's quite a few years back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But people like that stand out to me because they're the ones that are promoting every day. They're on Facebook promoting it, and I just joined in, tried to help. So I had a good time. And Joe Espinola, I owe him a lunch or dinner or something. Joe, you saved me, buddy. It was incredible how I thought my toes were going to fall off because I already got neuropathy, okay? And I'm not going to stay here.
Right.
But then I had a nephew chase me down when I was leaving just to say hi and give me a hug. I haven't seen him. One of Fred Wilkie's friends, Patrick Hoey, he chased me down to give me a big hug. And so things like that make it all worth it. Wild, you know? Yeah. But if we could, for another minute there.
Sure.
I just want to go back to Liam Skinner for a minute. What I do like I told you, I go to ask teachers, what's your issue? That's discipline. Okay, I'll work on that. That'll be my number one issue. Only because I don't like people that bully people, and I have some good ways, good issues to bring up, and I hope I can talk about it more when we have someone on the show from the schools. I'd rather have people like that next to me so we could debate an issue.
Right.
But I think Dr. Kafawi had the right answer. And he also, then once they threw him out over the budget, which made me laugh, they threw him out because he talked about maintenance of effort. And I told him when he said something, I said, you shouldn't tell me that because now I'll bring it up. And I did. I did in front of Kevin Murphy. He was the city manager, and he wasn't happy with what we said to him, but at the time, the maintenance of effort issue is huge. It still is. The only one that will ever fix that, I bet, is Eric, and I don't know if he can even fix that issue.
Right.
Because it's how much money the city, takes from the school budget. At that time when I was there, it was like 40 or 50 million. And that's because all we really do is rent our schools. The city owns the schools.
Right.
And that's why that issue of maintenance is John Leahy takes care of custodians. City of Lowell should be taking care of everything else. But I see it coming. I see that coming. That's probably the biggest issue in our schools, other than discipline, is maintaining our schools and maintaining them right. And I think Eric and Corey Robinson, the top two that I can think about, are on the right track. They need something better than we have. Nothing against lands and building. When I was on the school committee, a few times I got yelled at because I mentioned they can't repair things. They're not good enough. At the time, I said my wife knows more than all of them put together. I couldn't do the job either. There's some things I can't repair, but they need professionals like HVAC, electricians. I tried to get them in the school, Lowell High School. Why can't we have 2 master electricians and teach the kids how to do wiring? No. You can't put anything to do with academics and vocational training. And when I was around, it was always, oh, no.
Ah, boy.
Well,
It was.
Here's a few
Yeah, that was a little bit better. That was when I was freezing, and I was on my way home. Look at the legs. Look at the legs, huh? Told you I got neuropathy. I lost. Oh, yeah, this is just some great people, I'm
There's
telling
Dickie
you.
DeVers right here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to guess that's Lisa.
Yeah.
That's his wife.
That was all cool. I caught her. I didn't see Dickie to the end.
Well, Dickie's in disguise. I mean, I wouldn't recognize him walking down
Yeah,
the street like
I
that
didn't see him
either.
until the end.
And then here's a little bit more of the crowd. But the Keefe family polar plunge. It's something. Tom, you said they got $100 grand?
Yeah. Tony sent me an email Sunday morning.
Little over, I
'cause I had
heard, yeah.
donated to it.
Yeah.
Me. Yeah.
Fantastic. Good.
What would you call that term when you said Kafawi? What was it called? Maintenance of.
Maintenance of effort.
Okay. Now, when it snows out,
Yeah.
the city plows the parking lots, or does the school department have it all?
The city plows everything, obviously,
Okay.
but I
Do you
think,
get charged back for
yeah,
that?
I think there's something in the
I know,
maintenance
because
of
I know in
effort.
Drake they do that, yeah.
You know who brought
I don't
up,
understand it. It's Drake, it's
Well,
I don't get it.
the only school committee person that I dealt with that knew something about it, without
Yeah.
a doubt, was Jerry Nutter, when he was there. And that's when that issue came up big, but of course, Jerry Nutter and the other few were the ones that got rid of
Well,
Dr.
you
Cafawi.
drove Cafawi out of here, right?
Well,
More or
it's,
less.
but
You seem to be really anti-Cafawi.
maintenance of effort is a huge issue, and Jerry Nutt, I got to give him credit, knew more about that than anybody else on the
Right.
school committee.
Right, right.
And once we brought that to the subcommittees, on the other side was Rita, John Leahy, and Bill Samaras, and the leader on our subcommittee was Mr. Gendron,
Yep.
Steve Gendron,
Oh, yeah, okay.
Bob Gignac, and myself. And it wasn't a battle between the city and the schools. We laid it all on Kevin Murphy, laid it all. And it wasn't right to lay it all on him because we haven't maintained our schools years before he ever got here. We just haven't done it. You know, Tom, something small, I know Eric Gitchen knows more about maintenance than I'll ever know, but I know a few things, like HVAC is a very important part of any home, right?
How about the filters? Bobby,
I just-
you got two here.
Oh, listen, sounds like Mr. Hoey caught a cold from the polar plunge. Yeah, I think I might have got a little head freeze there. Mr. Hoey, great job. We'll
No.
come do it next year.
No.
It's okay.
I'll
might go-
donate.
I might-
I did donate. Tony asked me to donate on behalf of his friend of my fellow board member in the Housing Authority, Charlie Canavis, and I made a donation, and so
I've gone from diving in, because I almost got killed one year doing that, to walking in, up to about my belly, or a little bit more. Next year, I'll be over my ankles.
If they wanna
Just
change-
my ankles, and I'm turning around.
if they want to change it to the summer plunge, I'll be there and jump in anytime. You know, in August.
Well, the Keefe family, they deserve all the credit, really. I mean, I think
yeah.
they've been doing it for like 17 years, but then he connected up with all, like, the Finn, Billy Finn, if you know that guy.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
all
yeah,
connected. And when you connect those type of people, like I said, Sean Kremen and, and Eddie McMahon and this guy and that guy, what happens is it grows. It grows. You need to do that with an election, right?
Right.
So,
So,
and I knew, I just seen something else about Kim Scott since she called in. Her daughter is in school in London. I seen
yeah,
that
I
on
saw
Facebook.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Congratulations.
Yeah. To go to have those opportunities to go to schools in other countries and so forth, it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Well, I don't think I finished that when you're talking about it. To me, this is amazing. Okay, I'll just talk about my own family. My two kids graduated from Lowell High School. I never made it through. Junior year, I dropped out. But my two kids graduated. Then along comes my granddaughter, 24, preaching to her mother, get into STEM, get into math, and she did. And when she got 11 children from the Pine School near my house up there in Belvedere now, the Pine School sent 11 children down to the Latin Lyceum. Every one of those children today have a beautiful job and they're doing very well. They went down to Lowell High School Latin Lyceum. There's a few things I'd fix in that, but I'd never want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But she went from there and she took ROTC, another good thing for folks to hear. ROTC is a great thing. Then she went to UMass Lowell for an engineering degree after she looked at Northeastern for like $85,000, and she looked at Wentworth. They can do a little bit more because it's a private school, so they can offer you 20 grand, but it's still 60. That type of thing.
Sure.
Then she looked at Lowell. I don't know what she paid. I don't know if the president at that time took, give her a couple of breaks, because I think they did give some money to kids pay their college, right?
Oh,
Biden,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
But she graduated from ULO as an engineer and got a great job at the DOT, like her papa said, get a pension.
Yeah.
She's more squared away than I ever was in life, and that's all I
She's
live
an
for.
engineer, design engineer. She's a
No, just road engineer,
Okay, so
yellow
yeah,
vest and a
yeah,
hard hat.
yeah,
You're telling the guys, hey,
making good
go
money.
plow the snow, go do this, that type
Yeah.
of thing. But just to see her grow through Lowell High School, that's why, when people say to me, you were a downtowner with Kennedy. Yeah, I was. I'm never going to deny that. I don't care where you built it. Like I said earlier,
You could have built
you'd
it
have a leaky
anywhere.
roof
They-
anywhere. They don't
Remember
do
they
the
talked
right
about
work.
South Common? Can you imagine? Wasn't the South Common a possible site for that too?
Yeah, I forget.
That would have been great, huh?
Well, like I said, they didn't want it up there in Belvedere, and the Belvedere's vote.
Yeah.
You want things your way, get out and vote.
Yeah.
And my district votes. District 3
I
votes.
think it's the only one. Yeah. Meaning
No,
citywide.
Pawtuckaville has a good vote.
But
The
Belvedere
Highlands, Upper
always
Highlands,
been-
Upper
Belvedere's always
Highlands.
been a.
Yeah. So,
I can remember back 2 years ago. That was the vote you'd wait for it to come in if you're going to decide your
It's
election.
too late, but I think Cliff Krieger had a good idea. 2 high schools.
yeah, well, that's what, there you go.
Each
How
side of
about
the
the
river.
low trade?
Each
Low
side of the
trade.
river.
Save that building, low trade, Cliff. That's where I went for a year. I went to 12 different public schools in my lifetime. Imagine that.
Wow, what a life.
Well, my mother
bless you.
my mother was 16.
Yeah.
I look
All
back
local?
at that. All local.
low? Yeah.
All local.
Yeah.
Yeah. All local. 11 or 12. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure.
John, do
about
they have
11.
enough kids for 2 high schools? When you say,
No,
I know
no.
Nashua, I believe, has 2 high schools.
We got about 3,200 when it's maxed out, I believe.
Especially at the building a new school.
How many go to the vote?
I don't know. Yeah.
Lowell High School. When you say that to people, like when I was working at
It
Concord,
ain't gonna happen.
no, how
It'd be a
big?
good idea. Competition is good.
Yeah, without a doubt. When you got, listen, competition. How about Lowell Catholic? What do they got? 500 students?
Yeah.
That many? Wow.
And maybe this year coming, we won't be, Lowell High, 3,200, we won't be able to beat that school in baseball this year. We won't.
Yeah.
In the Greater Lowell Technical High School, better watch out, because Lowell Catholic's on the way up. And boy, are they good at baseball. Wow. Anything they do, that school's a jewel. Talk about competition. Lowell Catholic.
Yeah.
And it's a great school. We're lucky to have that school in Lowell. You kidding me? It only costs you around, what,
It's
16, 18,000? Kim Scott can tell us. How much does it cost?
Well,
to
John's
send your son?
granddaughter goes there. John's right.
Great
John?
school, great school. Unbelievable. And you know I'm a baseball fan, so I'm excited about baseball in Lowell. Imagine bringing that back. I don't think they can bring it back to the way it was when I was a kid, but I'm glad they're focusing. City Council again.
Right.
Yeah. You know, I'd love to say this, Tom, right? You know I talk so much about Eric Gitcher, and I said it already in the show. I finally met his mother. I finally met the mother at City Hall. And I was joking with her, walking in to go pay my water bill, right, Tom? And
Yeah.
I said to her, she said, I had Eric's hat on. She goes, hey, who are you? You know, I was Bob Hoey. She goes, that's my son. I goes, really? I said, can you do me a favor? See if you can get Lee Gitcher to come out and run against Eric citywide. She goes, no, I won't say everything she said about Lee, but she goes, I'd rather have Zach do it, which
Yeah.
is Eric's son. So you never know. He's a math teacher. You never
Right,
know. They
right.
can come out. I already called one math teacher. Well, I got in touch with his friends. Bill Florence, best math teacher I ever met in my lifetime at the Butler School.
So what you're saying
But
is
he
you think
don't wanna run.
Eric won't run again? When you say
No,
about
no,
the
no.
Eric,
I just like to see. Lee's a very popular guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy, and I'd
But-
like to see him run against Eric for the same seat. That would be beautiful. We'd have 2
Why would
Gitches.
you do such a thing?
Just to have 2 of them on.
One of
There's
them
only
one of
3.
them could lose.
Hey, there's only 3, right? Only 3 citywide candidates
Yeah.
for city council. What's to say them 2 couldn't win it?
Well, it's early yet.
You
I'm
never
not
say
sure.
it. You never know. You
You're
say
not
you never
sure.
know in life. You know.
Yeah.
The only thing a city councilor gets that you can't get is the city manager will call you back.
Yeah.
That's the only thing a city councilor has over a regular citizen.
You know you're not going to get Rita Mercier. Oh, by the way, thank you for asking me who I met up there. Rita Mercier. I definitely met her. I wish they'd flash a picture of that. Rita's daughter took a picture of myself
I'll find it.
and Rita. And Rita will not be beat in Lowell, okay? She'll never be knocked out of that top 3. Never.
I hope you're right, Bob.
Oh, she'll only get beat when she wants
No,
to
but
leave.
but
That's
I'm
it.
saying, I've said it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose. You want to go out on your own terms. Do you agree with that? Rita's been there a long. Jimmy O'Loughlin, he was a selectman in Draker for years, and a great guy, great selectman. He decided to go one more term, and he got beat. Warren Sharma and Doug Willett said, "This is it. There's a shelf life. There's a shelf life for everybody." Do you agree with that or not?
Of course.
I agree with you. I don't think Rita can, but I don't want to see her get beat, and you don't want to see it, go out. Dick Howe, he knew enough to get out.
You don't have everybody running.
Listen, I even said this last
So, Tom,
last
you got
election.
3 here to read.
Low Catholics numbers are falling. They are under 300 at the high school.
Wow.
Wow. What's expensive?
Well, every play I go up there, my granddaughter Zoe, she goes there. Place is packed for all the plays
Yeah.
I go to. Next one.
Newton has a population of 88,000, and they have 2 high schools. And so does
This last
Nashua.
one's from Eric Kitchen.
Lee can't run. Have you seen his legs?
See my legs? Can't run either.
No, Lee.
Yeah. But right
but
away,
Nashua, I
let's
believe,
say
has 2
something
high
about
schools.
that one text. Newton, money,
Oh, yeah.
money. Newton is one of the best cities you can live in the country. Top 10, anyways. They got money. That's why we can't have a second high school. We don't have that kind of money. So, yeah, this is going to be a fun time in the next few months. It'll heat up pretty soon on election talks, without a doubt, Tom.
Right.
So- And that would be if that's true, what you told me about Cisco that works for Enterprise Bank.
Yeah. I catch a lot of that stuff on Teddy's website if you want to check it out. He gets a lot of those tips.
Yeah.
So you got him running,
See,
you got
when
another
they-
attorney running for the District 3 seat, a woman, Brenda Duran, I forget what her name was.
They've already done everything I think they could do to try to get Kim Scott beat.
Right.
Number one is when they redistrict the city, they took a lot of people like myself that used to be able to vote for Kim. If you go down Woburn Street, everything to the left is now in Belvedere.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everything to the right is District 5.
Right.
And that alone, the demographics have worked against Kim in every election. When she runs, she's nervous.
Yeah.
She should be. This one here is going to be tougher than the last. But
you got-
again, I think I know who I'll support her in a minute.
So you got Eric Itchia,
Yeah.
Vesna Noon, Rita Mercy. Do you have anybody else running citywide that you know of? Have you heard any names?
Not
Well, I'm
yet.
saying when you're saying about Rita can't be beat or this one can't be beat. I mean, remember,
Well-
we talked about it before. Vesna could have one more week been out of that. Right? He could have lost last time. You
Well,
know?
that issue,
Yeah.
the ADU issue, yeah, that got him. Without a doubt, that got him. But he does I think he does what they say. Belvedere says something to him, he listens, and that's what saved him. That's what saved him. I don't think,
Stop you right there, thanks.
you know who said that? Matter of fact, it's our friend Ned Tommy said that.
Yeah.
If election went another week, Corey Belanger would have won. I don't believe that either.
Yeah.
Corey's working real hard. I like that part about him. He's working real
He was
hard.
never afraid of campaign, but there's
No,
going to be
now
others
he's
in that
never
race.
worked. He's never worked this hard.
Yeah.
He used to come all the time in a vest, right?
Yeah.
Nice vest. Now he's in a suit coat.
Yeah.
Believe me, he's working overtime.
Yeah.
And I like the guy. All his friends, I'm friends with all his friends. But I told him already, your friends don't live in Lowell anymore, buddy.
I just still think this issue with the open meeting law is going to hurt them. I think they're going to go after a lot of them on that issue. The open meeting violations that the Attorney General's office addressed. And I think sometimes people are ready for change. Like John always says about getting a 40-year-old candidate in this district to run, somebody new and bright. Too bad it couldn't be one of them, So
Just to get anybody at all to run, to me, is incredible. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm fired up, because I seen Danielle McFadden. I keep
yeah.
forgetting her first
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
But once I seen her run citywide, I said, oh, right away, this is the way I think.
Yeah.
Someone told her they're not running.
Well,
Or their campaign.
Danielle's very well liked.
No, I
They
know
would've made a
that, but I'm
yeah.
saying she was supposed to run for state rep at one time.
Oh, yeah.
right? So she
But
changed.
she would have taken a pay cut.
But for her to come in and say she's running citywide on the schools, to me, was incredible.
Yeah.
But I still feel either Connie or Jackie told her, I'm not running for schools. I'm not going to run. One will be
Well, no,
leaving.
John had texted.
They're not going to beat this Danielle McFadden anyways.
No.
So if you do run like I am going to run, I'm running for second place.
Yeah.
When I run 4 other times and won it citywide, right, I was running for 6th place. Just give me number 6. I
Yeah.
don't have to be number 1. That's the way I look at things,
Yeah.
It's a little bit easier when there's 6 spots and you just got to slide in. It was friends of yours, too. Bill Topia.
Yep.
And, oh boy, I'm having a hard time thinking of the other
George
person.
Harris.
No.
Oh.
No, he was always hard to beat. But,
Yeah.
Now,
There you
what are
go.
they going to put Corey Landry in their picture?
Well, they're going to have to take another picture. What do you think they're going to?
The little son's there. Hey, just take a picture of us.
Yeah, they're not going to. That's not going to happen.
Because John Leahy, he's moved on, but everybody else is still there. They tell me Sakari.
Well, what do they call that thing? Superimpose?
Sakari. Anybody hear anything about Sakari, Chow?
No.
Give them the meetings?
Yeah, he missed the last 2 meetings.
Go to Cambodia or something?
I don't know. I have no clue. And it's Kim Scott, and they were taking heat for it. Kim Scott missed a meeting.
Didn't the city clerk say Tommy Bobo's not here this week, he's off at Foxwoods? What's
Yeah.
wrong with saying that?
Yeah. They're on vacation. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, Kim Scott took heat for it too because she was away.
Now I got to hear shot at our school committee. And
Where's Jackie? Oh, that's right. What? She was sick then, right? Not Jackie Doherty.
Connie Martin.
Yeah.
What's the matter? Don't they have another camera? What the hell's the matter with these people? They just skip a member.
Dominic never comes on with us anymore. Boy, that is something that with you.
yeah, that's all.
I did get the time. Like the other day I called, I think I called the radio, I don't know whether I called RKO or CAP, but I called the radio station. And right after I called the radio station, chit chat with the host, Dominic recognized my voice with all the others. So Dominic's around.
Yeah. He won't come on Tuesdays anymore because of Bobby.
No, we're still friends. We're We're always friends.
We can't get the superintendent on with us. Your friend.
No, well, I tried to get him out at Lindsay's.
Yeah.
Your favorite,
yeah?
your favorite place for chicken pie.
Yep. I'm going to try that pie.
No,
but,
I'm just-
in fact, I
it-
might
it was
stop today.
incredible.
I'm going to stop today, I think. Yeah, because
small-
I love chicken pie.
Oh, me too.
Were they
Tom,
in the food section there? Were they
Yep,
involved?
the-
You're talking about Lindsay's chicken pie, you're talking to Mo's.
Market Basket, once he tries it, there's no doubt Lindsay's chicken pie is awesome.
Yeah.
But to be able to go in and buy one for $5.99 that
I'm gonna
fills
try
me
one.
up, oh,
Yeah.
it was great. I just put it on a plate.
I might stop on the way home today.
Gave it another minute. Oh yeah, it was really good. I'm a chicken. I could eat chicken pie
Me
at
too.
turkey dinners
With
every
mashed
day of the
potatoes.
week.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. So,
But everything is going good right now to me in Lowell. So
sure.
we'll see what happens. The more I hear people running, the better I feel. District 4
And
right
we finally
here.
have a president, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's
A lot
got
of people-
everybody on their toes. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, this question is directed towards you.
Bob, how many voters do you anticipate will show up to vote in November? Listen, I've never, you know who's the best person for that would be, that question is Marty Laurie, because I never followed any type of things like that. I don't look at the voting list. I could care less about that. I don't deal with those numbers. But I would say the most, I'd say 10 grand, 10,000 people. That would be
That's
the
a lot.
most.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be the most. And I'm only guessing, I don't know. That's what I mean. It's a small number of people that you have to get to. And when you had to run citywide, it's a very difficult race, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have all kinds of little debates to go to, and you can use that as a bully pulpit, just like I use right here. Same thing. And I'm telling you, it's easy to run for the school committee compared to the city council. Much easier. I tried the city council 3 times without raising money. You can't do that. You need about 10 grand to maybe win that
What are
seat.
you gonna spend your money on?
Well, you spend your money on a lot of signs. Try to get up like 200 of them. 200
Signs don't vote. Signs don't vote.
No, they help though. They help. You
Yeah,
got to
it's
do
on
a lot of.
CIP. Do you do
I
CIP
believe
ads?
you got to. Marty Laurie had the best way. Look at the voting list, see who votes, and go
Oh,
knock
always.
their
That's
door.
key.
There's
That's
no
key.
doubt that's the best way. But
You got
I
to see who
never
voted in the
knocked-
last 2 or 3 elections. You know they're going to vote, no matter
Never
what.
would I knock on a door. Well, I love when I hear people. I knock
See,
on.
I think
Remember
that's
when
irritating. I think that irritates people. It irritates me.
someone said they knocked.
What
Actually,
irritates you?
People knocking on my door. Yeah, I'm sitting there,
I think it's
yeah.
someone looking for money.
Do you, like,
yeah.
you're sitting here and some kind of candidate knocks on your door, it doesn't irritate you?
Yeah, people don't visit the house like they once did.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna go to break, and when we
All
come
right.
back, we're gonna have Karla Miller's here and Scott Landry's here, so we'll be back in a couple of minutes. So Time's on both.
No, they help though. They help. They help. You gotta do a lot of. I believe that you gotta. Mine and Larry had the best way. Look at the voting list, see who votes, and go knock their door. There's no doubt that's the best way, but
You guys see who voted in the last 2 or 3 elections, you know they're gonna vote, no matter
never
what.
would I knock on the door. Well, I love when I hear people. I knock
See,
on.
I think that's
remember
irritating. I think that irritates people. It irritates me.
Someone said they knocked.
Did it
Actually,
irritate you?
People knocking on my door. Yeah, I'm sitting there,
I think it's someone looking for money.
Do you, like, you're sitting here and some kind of candidate knocks on your door, it doesn't irritate you?
Yeah, people don't visit the house like they once did.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna go to break, and when we
All
come
right.
back, we're gonna have Karla Miller's here and Scott Landry's here, so we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Time's on both.
No, they help though. They help. They help. You gotta do a lot of. I believe that you gotta. Mine and Larry had the best way. Look at the voting list, see who votes, and go knock their door. There's no doubt that's the best way, but
You guys see who voted in the last 2 or 3 elections, you know they're gonna vote, no matter
never
what.
would I knock on the door. Well, I love when I hear people. I knock
See,
on.
I think that's irritating. I think that irritates people. It irritates me.
Someone said they knocked.
Did it
Actually,
irritate you?
People knocking on my door. Yeah, I'm sitting there,
I think it's someone looking for money.
Do you, like, you're sitting here and some kind of candidate knocks on your door, it doesn't irritate you?
Yeah, people don't visit the house like they once did. Hey, we're gonna go to break, and when we
All
come
right.
back, we're gonna have Karla Miller's here and Scott Landry's here, so we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Time's on both.
No, they help though. They help. They help. You gotta do a lot of. I believe that you gotta. Mine and Larry had the best way. Look at the voting list, see who votes, and go knock their door. There's no doubt that's the best way, but
You guys see who voted in the last 2 or 3 elections, you know they're gonna vote, no matter
never
what.
would I knock on the door. Well, I love when I hear people. I knock
See,
on.
I think that's irritating. I think that irritates people. It irritates me.
Someone said they knocked.
Did it
Actually,
irritate you?
People knocking on my door. Yeah, I'm sitting there,
I think it's someone looking for money.
Do you, like, you're sitting here and some kind of candidate knocks on your door, it doesn't irritate you?
Yeah, people don't visit the house like they once did. Hey, we're gonna go to break, and when we
All
come
right.
back, we're gonna have Karla Miller's here and Scott Landry's here, so we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Time's on both.
No, they help though. They help. They help. You gotta do a lot of. I believe that you gotta. Mine and Larry had the best way. Look at the voting list, see who votes, and go knock their door. There's no doubt that's the best way, but
You guys see who voted in the last 2 or 3 elections, you know they're gonna vote, no matter
never
what.
would I knock on the door. Well, I love when I hear people. I knock on.
I think that's irritating. I think that irritates people. It irritates me.
Someone said they knocked.
Did it
Actually,
irritate you?
People knocking on my door. Yeah, I'm sitting there,
I think it's someone looking for money.
Do you, like, you're sitting here and some kind of candidate knocks on your door, it doesn't irritate you? Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the January 28th edition of City Life. January's almost over. This will be the last show in January for us, Bobby. And with me is my usual co-host, Bob Hoey, candidate for Lowell School Committee. Karla Miller, former candidate for state senator. And we have a new guest here who's never been here, Scott Landry. And Scott sort of has a little success story that he was telling us before the show. Kyle, if you want to just, you want to tell your story, Kyle, you want to talk about Scott, or how you want to handle it?
Sure. Well, Scott and I met for about 5 minutes. Okay. And I said, you need to come on City Life. So I'll let Scott tell his story, but I'm, very passionate about
Sure.
the homeless situation, and that's why I asked him to come on. So if you want to talk about what you're doing now and
Sure.
and what you've done in the past.
Well, Scott, before the show, just what I had said was he was homeless, and now you're running a rehab center. Is that
Treatment center.
Good,
yes.
talk about it. Good,
Sure, I will.
good.
Absolutely. First and foremost, I appreciate you guys very much for having me on the show. It's an honor to be here, especially back in the city of Lowell. I love the city very much. I'm a man in recovery, in long-term recovery. At one point in my life, I was homeless, and in these streets, not too far away, actually. And I was able to, get my life back together, and it's an honor and a privilege to, be put in a position to have a local treatment center. It's in Chelmsford, Massachusetts, and it's virtually what it is is day treatment. They come in from 9 to 3, and it's literally, just an honor and a privilege to be in the position that I'm in today, once being a homeless, a homeless alcoholic in these streets, and through perseverance, resilience, and a little bit of God, I've been put in a position to help others. So I'm just grateful for that.
Whereabouts in Chelmsford is your facility? You said it's in Chelmsford?
Yeah, Chelmsford, yeah. 67 Parkhurst Road.
And, go ahead, I'm
I
sorry,
was just
Carl.
going to say, it's right in the same plaza as Best Fitness,
Okay.
and that's how I came out of working out, and I saw the sign, and so I popped in to see what it was all about, and that's how I met Scott.
Is Parkhurst, is that the road that's off of Drum Hill?
It cuts
Like,
right
next
from
to
North
Hannaford's?
Road
Okay.
to Drum Hill.
Okay.
Right to-
That's
yeah.
okay. I know where it is,
Yeah,
yeah.
right
Yeah.
where if it's exactly right behind it.
And what, do people get referred to your site, or people just walk in, I need help? How does it work?
A little bit of,
Okay, kids, what I want you to do is
a little bit of
look
both.
at yourself on the monitor. Don't look at yourself physically. Look at yourself look at who you're talking to on the monitor. It keeps you facing the microphone.
Okay. So yeah, as I was saying, Scott, you get a referral to go to your place, or you just walk in off the street if you need help, or how does it work? Or from agencies, or?
Yeah, pretty much all three. We get referrals. We work with local, detoxes and things like that, and we have a open door policy for sure for any individual that may be struggling with substance use disorder. They can walk in anytime.
Do you have much of a staff? Or
We
is it
have
ju-
full staff.
Wow,
Yeah.
great.
Case managers, clinicians.
Wow, so you are a success story coming back from what? Wow, wow.
I lead a team of professionals, and yes, yeah.
How did this happen? How did you start this? Obviously, you need money to start that. What did you just
Yes.
wake up one day and say, "This is it. I can't do this anymore"? And
Well, I lost my little brother, Jeff Landry, to an overdose about a year and a half ago, and at that time, I was working with my spiritual advisor, Brendan Burke, and he seen something in me that I didn't see in myself. He was willing to invest in me, help me build this treatment center. So with a little bit of fire in my soul from losing my brother, and never wanting another parent to feel that pain again, like I had to watch my mom.
right.
We got it going.
Yeah, great. And Kyle, you were involved in this, or you just know Scott through this program? I know you're involved.
we
You're very
just
heavy
met.
with the homeless. Yeah.
Yeah, we just met. And John, do you have any of those pictures that I sent you that you might be able to put
I'm
up?
sure I get the pictures up right now. I'm just trying to get the names right, and I'll get on.
Okay. All right. So you talk about the homeless on this, show all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's talking about the homeless all the time. And, I've talked to a lot of people, and I've visited where I think would be the place for the homeless right now, which is the grounds of the Tewksbury State Hospital. Not the hospital that's open now, but the grounds. And I'm talking about opening, one of the buildings that's already renovated. There's one side of it that is empty. And, just starting off small, one person at a time, a type of like a second chance program. And it would have to have a name, of course, because, when you talk about Tewksbury State Hospital, people aren't too thrilled to want to go there. But there are buildings, on the campus, and it's a great, I had never been there before. If you ever get the chance to take the tour, there's an outdoor tour and an indoor tour, and it's really, really interesting. And one of the things that you'll learn is how it started. They started off as an almshouse, and they were taking in people that the homeless people, but mostly immigrants that came to this country, legal immigrants. And it got to the point where they had 4,000 people at Tewksbury State Hospital. And some of the things they did back then were really impressive. So the residents there, okay, and, it turned into a hospital for the mentally ill. The residents there built the buildings, helped build the buildings, I should say, out of stone that they got from the farmland and brick. And any time that they found they needed something, like for instance, they needed nurses at one point, So they opened a nursing school, and they built 2 buildings for the nurses, for the residents, for the nurses to be residents there. And, back then, of course, they had to be single, white, and female. But the history is great, and back then, they treated the mentally ill, in my opinion, better than they're being treated today. They weren't living outside like they are now. And they had a chance to be rehabilitated, but back then, of course, we didn't have the medications that we have now, so they were trying things like, shock treatments, lobotomies, things like that, but they really believed that that was going to help these people. A lot of people at the time said that, these were terrible things that were being done to them, but they had no other way they could find to help treat them. And now we have medications. And I just think that the best thing to do right now is to open a program there and start off, bringing people there and, having them live there. And one of the other things they did back then is that the building that I'm talking about has very narrow windows, a lot of narrow windows. And what they did was they built it so that each person could have a small room, a very small, narrow room with a bed, and I don't know what else they put in there. But right now, what's happening in these with the homeless is a lot of them go to the centers where they sleep over and they're out the next day. It's not. I don't think they're working. They're not working because they just keep turning. People are in and out, in and out. I just talked to a veteran last week that is there, and he told me that they're very dirty. And I think we need to respect these people. Okay, they need respect, and in return, I believe that they'll, give us the respect. And they'll, I hope that, to get people into a place like that where they can get better. Some of them are not. Some of them are, are mentally ill and they're not going to get better. But some of them can be, put on medication. Some of them can, that have alcohol and drug problems can be rehabilitated, just like Scott was talking about. And John, I know that you talk about a couple of the buildings in Lowell that are places where you think that they could go right now.
St. John's Nursing.
Right.
St. John's Nursing School.
Right.
Stackpole Street.
Right. So that would be a place where maybe.
No, my solution to the homeless is
Yeah.
the government does a crappy job.
They don't care.
They do. But I'm going to give you a job that nobody else wants, and I'm going to expect a miracle from you. And put mental illness, and I think that Scott would agree with me, there are a lot of mentally ill people out there, no matter what you provide for. They have this beautiful, beautiful place to move into. Nah, I don't want to go. You can't make them go. Scott will get some airtime in a few minutes. We need to put the government out of this. Take a professional organization like Tufts. Tufts, gigantic, money-making medical machine. They do a fabulous job, save my life, they'll save your life if you give them the chance. That's their job. Put them in charge of homeless. They don't want the job. Well, neither does the government. But I'll bet you, Tufts will do a better job at housing and helping the homeless than any city or town. And to say, well, we'll dump them out to the state hospital. Well, the state hospital, when you give administration a job they don't want, they do a crappy job. Oh, we're doing the best we can. How many times do we hear that? We're doing the best we can. Well, you're failing. And people don't like to hear that. But so, to put it back in the government's hands, I don't want to do that.
But John, yeah, Tufts is not stepping up, and also it would be very expensive through Tufts. But if you show some of those pictures of the state hospital, you'll see how many programs are up there. There's a program for It's a 90-day program, unfortunately. I'm talking about a program that has to be 6 months to a year at least.
And they were an email. I went looking around different.
Yeah, but there's a place up there to, for, to rehabilitate alcoholics and but there's only a 90-day program. So and the center point is up there. There are already places on that campus. And anything that and this is a state problem. This isn't for the city of Lowell the taxpayers or the city of Lowell to pay for. This is a state issue. And we're not even close to being on the list for the state, which is why there has to be a campaign, and everybody has to start calling their state reps and their state senator, Ed Kennedy, and ask them to do something about this. I mean, I can't even believe that we have people in this weather out on the streets. Nobody seems to let that sink in, that that's what's happening.
Just a second. Katie Rourke, fantastic. Next time we're going to do this now.
Yeah.
My microphone on so you can hear me better. Sorry about that. He comes here. Now, he had a bus, a young
I understand
school bus,
that, yeah.
okay? And said, look, if you want help, you want a nice warm place to stay, and we'll take good care of you, hop on that bus. 200 people said no. We need Lori Trahan on this, okay? Because Lori will, it's not my job, it's the... Lori, we need a federal change. Take away their rights for 90 days. Any cop can say, you know what, you lost your rights for 90 days. You're going to the homeless help center, like it or not. You can put them in the paddy wagon. Oh, don't call it. I'll call whatever I please. Put them in the paddy wagon. Bring them to the homeless place that's run by toughs, and make this person better. Scott, tell me about people who don't want to move into homeless. They don't want help. Tell me about. I mean, if you give us a little background on your story.
Sure. Yeah, it's as I'm listening, I was over. I try to come on a weekly basis over to the church on Summer Street and give back a little bit, and sit with some of the guys and talk to them and feed them, and it's with. I have the mind of an alcoholic. I mean, I've since been cured, and the obsession to use has been lifted. But
You got lucky.
yes, very well. I did. I got very lucky, and the truth of the matter is my poor mother tried on 100 separate occasions, right? My children, right, cried because they wanted their dad, and when I was caught up in the midst of it, there was nothing that nobody could do to stop me. And the reality of it is, was the pain had to be deep enough for me to humble myself and be willing to accept any sort of help. And until that, I just manipulated the system. I would come into the churches, I would eat your free food, and I would do all those things and just take advantage, of the systems in place and get what I could from it. And again, I was in the midst of it, and that doesn't mean that I didn't deserve love, right? Or I didn't deserve an opportunity, or I didn't deserve options.
Scott, it's hard to love somebody who hates your guts.
Yeah. It's hard to love the unlovable, the people that, they don't love themselves. That's the problem. They don't know how to love themselves.
So what would you say a solution is? So I'm not going to name names
Accountability.
here.
Accountability.
We can ride by the Elliott Presbyterian Church right now, but and they have St. Paul's Kitchen. I guess that's the draw. They give free food there.
I actually like your idea. Take away their accountability.
And
There needs to be
so
accountability.
The Lowell City Council is doing a fantastic job. I'm still rippled about our city manager herding, and that's the term the cops told me. Homeless were herded to the South Common, and so I've got to be a long time before I let Tommy Golden go on that one. But under his leadership, the homeless were herded to the South Common, and we had 400 people over there one time. Oh, we didn't have 400. Look, I live here, buddy. 400 people would show up for breakfast over there. Two of my friends that come here once in a while, and they give out 235 meals every single night. And because St. Paul's Kitchen is closed by then. the solution to this is federal legislation, take away their rights. We're already, everybody you see on the screen there, if you ask them, you got an EBT card? Yep. How many do you got? How many EBT cards do you have? I mean, you smile, but I mean, it's true, right?
Yeah.
And so the welfare system is crazy where these guys and gals that you see on the screen there, they got an EBT card and they have a mass health card. So they have free health insurance. So that's why I say Tufts, they got a mass health card, the gold card. So, sorry, Scott, I interrupted you.
No, that's
John,
okay.
you mentioned the St. John's School. What's that, a vacant building that's available?
St. John's Nursing School, it's on Stackpole Street.
I know where it is, yeah.
I'll put it up on the screen.
But is it vacant? Is that what you're saying, for use?
I don't know what it is, but
Oh, okay.
it's sitting there. It's segregated. It's up the street from the Immaculate Conception Church. Nobody wants the homeless in their town. Nobody
Right.
does.
Well, and that's what I'm sure will be an issue with the residents of Tewksbury, believe it or not.
We're
They
going to
probably
make the
wouldn't
homeless.
want-
Of course they don't, but it's
Yeah.
a state, it's a
Exactly,
state
exactly.
hospital.
Scott's a
Exactly.
perfect example of a homeless person that can turn themselves around and become a fantastic citizen.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And you got your family back, you got your mother back, you got your kids back. 'Cause
Oh yeah,
Great.
Oh
great,
yeah, oh
great,
yeah.
great.
Everything. Yeah,
Great.
they're you know, they look up to the dead. You know, they have someone to be proud of
Good.
today, and that's what it's all about.
A
There
lot
is
of pain
hope.
and misery, but you came back, and that's a success story. I can't say success today.
A lot of work. You know, it took a lot of work, but I did, and there is hope because I remember the way I used to think, and I know the way I think today. You know, the way my heart is today, and you know, and what it was like previously. But you know, I said accountability, and you know, I know somebody like me, and I know about 15 others that would be very willing to do it as well as, you know, even Summer Street, the church, you know, they go in, they feed them over there. I was there the other day talking with the case manager, Kim, and I said, you know, why don't, you know, in order to come in and utilize your free food and do all these things, why don't we, you know, because they sit down, they do their case management sessions and things like that, and they try to figure out, you know, food stamps and stuff. It's like, why don't, you know, urine them, you know, see if they're under the influence. You know, if they're under the influence, tell them they have to go get help, and if they don't get help, they can't use your services.
Scott, on EBT cards, when you were down on your luck, living across the street on the South Common, your colleagues in homelessness, did they have more than one EBT card?
Can I be transparent on the show?
Go ahead.
They did, but their drug dealers had them, not them. Like my drug dealer had my EBT card. I would sell my EBTs, my food stamps for my next fix.
So how many EBT cards could what? Not asking about you, okay?
Sure.
How many EBT cards do you think I can get and keep them?
I mean, it's been years since I've been in the game, but at least a couple. You know?
Yep. Because my police friends tell me, well, when we bust these, when we arrest them,
Yeah.
they have phones, free phones.
Oh yeah.
They have more than one EBT card, sometimes as many as 5, and they
Cash
have
benefits.
a mass health card.
Yeah. Cash benefits as well on top of the food stamps.
So the EBT card, when you say 5, are they like under different names, aliases? I don't know how they could even get away with that. Is it under? You couldn't have like 5 John McDonoughs have it.
When I ask,
I know somebody that has
when
an
I
EBT
ask,
card
they
that-
don't shut your card. When you lose your card, they don't shut it off.
I remember driving a
They
taxi
still fill your
and
card up even though it's lost.
Well, you've been quiet. Go ahead.
going the Wayback Machine. I remember driving a taxi and it'd be a $3 fare and some guy would offer me $20 in food money. Remember it looked like Monopoly money.
Yeah.
It was just as bad back then. But I just want to go to something Karla said. There's no doubt the issue to me has been caused by the state. No doubt about it. Maybe the federal government too, but in this state, I remember back when we closed Danvers State Hospital. We've closed a lot of Bridgewater State Hospital because of funding, and Tewksbury got wiped out because of funding. The one positive thing I want to say about Tewksbury Hospital, because my daughter worked there as a nurse for 6 years, they take in a lot of brain injuries from motorcycle accidents, and it's not the easiest place to work. Believe me, it's not. And it's a great place for certain things like that. But she's right on the, she's hitting the nail right on the head when it comes to the state needs to do it. The state caused this issue by doing that, taking funding away from places that we needed for mental health. They ended up in prison with me. That's where a lot of them end up. They got no other place to go. They'll do a smash and grab, whatever it takes to be put behind bars. But now those days are over, because they're not even incarcerating people that rob people. They're just not doing it in this state. But the one issue, Tom, if you don't mind me asking one more thing, Scott, I loved when you said you were an alcoholic. I've been preaching it on this show forever that alcohol could be still ahead of drugs as far as problems go.
Oh, yeah.
Domestic issues, you name it, the gamut. Alcohol to me has hurt my life in many ways. I feel like I lost my mother over alcohol. That's just how I feel personally. But to me, we don't talk about alcohol. In the state, that all you ever hear, homeless and drugs, homeless and drugs. And it is a lot of drugs involved in homeless people, no doubt about it. Living in a tent like that, I don't think most of us could do it. But alcohol, I loved when you said that, an alcoholic. And I think, I don't know if it was you or Karla that said this, 30 days, 60 days, it doesn't help.
No.
You need long-term help.
Yeah.
A lot of times it'll be, I know someone in my family that's been saved because the judge put an ankle bracelet on him and locked him up for a while. And it took a year, but he's doing awesome. I think long-term is a very,
Absolutely.
yeah, without a doubt.
Scott, how
We
long
have to-
have you been sober? How long? have you been?
Almost 4 years.
Wow.
In about a week, it'll be 4 years. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Good for you. Yeah. Gee.
But, I believe we need to make an investment in these people and in this problem. And the shelters are not working. Obviously, they're not working. And if we don't have a place for these people to go, the problem is never going to be solved. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that, and this is the tough part, is they can be arrested. They can be arrested for vagrancy or whatever, small crimes. And if they're arrested enough times, if they keep being arrested over and over and over again, then possibly they will go. They will, if you say you can go to jail, or you can go to, let's call it the Second Chance program. And the great thing about Tewksbury, and I'll get back to what you think, John, about the nurses, the St. John's nurses' quarters there. That could be a good place for them to go initially to be evaluated. What is their, what's the problem with this person? Is it drugs? Is it alcohol?
Once we straighten this problem out, it's a 4-year issue. In 4 years, homelessness can be gone. Can be gone completely. We have to grab what we have right now, attack it with professionals.
Right.
I don't know how to help a homeless person, but
I don't
Scott
either,
does.
but I'm just,
Scott does.
but exactly.
Okay, so
That's
Tom,
why I
you
brought
got,
him
you
in
got
here.
3 text messages here,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to go.
Home run, Mr. Landry. I applaud you for your accountability and realizing it's up to you, not anyone else.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the federal government uses its resources towards Ukrainian over its own citizens. Unfortunately, the state uses its resources towards migrants over its own citizens.
Right.
Scott, were you ever arrested when
Oh, yeah.
when you issue? I'm just going to give, my wife worked at the district court. She retired back in July, and she would actually literally see people walking into the probation or clerk's office high as a kite, and the court officers would have to escort them out, but they were never arrested.
Right.
And if they were arrested, they were back on the street. She would say it. She said that
Yeah,
it's the Massachusetts judicial system that is awful when it comes to, they don't put people in jail. There's a term they use down there, let them walk.
Yeah.
And it's a shame.
It is.
I mean, she said, I've been waiting for her down there when I would pick her up, and I would see people high as a kite. I mean, and they're walking into a judicial center where they,
Right.
and I know they need help, and I'm not saying, it's just that the judicial system's not helping the issue at all, I don't think,
No.
But
And they need to be held accountable.
you gotta get
And
a governor
yeah.
to appoint stricter judges,
Right. But the ones we have now, if the same person keeps coming in front of them, I mean, people are going to get tired and say, okay, take them to
Yeah.
jail or take them to, whatever program, they come up with, but I'm just trying to make suggestions because it's really frustrating and it's really sad to see that this issue is not getting any attention in the state. And I know that
What we're looking right now,
Dan,
this is St. John's Nursing
Dan
School.
Rourke,
Gigantic building.
yeah, well, that's a good place to start, but you have to get them out of the city where the drug dealers are.
Well,
You cannot,
part of the problem is, Karla, and I'm going to use Tommy Bomil's example. Tommy, somebody goes in there and they get him out of here, okay? If they had a broken leg, they'd call an ambulance. There's no place to send these people because they have rights to say, I ain't going. And you talk to the firemen who have that Narcan thing that they rescue people's lives with. They wake back up again. Well, you want to go for some help? Nope. Bye. All that stuff's got to. The government's fired. They're doing a terrible job with this. They didn't want the job. Okay, let's put medical professionals in charge of this, and I'm not going to hear otherwise.
you've got to be like a dog with a bone. You have to keep on the same and keep arresting the same people, and I mean you're doing it for their own good. And someone's going to the judges are going to get tired of seeing them.
Yeah, but Karla, if you have a broken leg and I just take you and I put you someplace and I don't heal your leg, what the hell good is that? We need professionals.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, John. That's why I'm talking about opening a program in one of the buildings on the grounds. And the reason I say the Tewksbury State Hospital is because when you go outside of these buildings, you're on it's like a college campus over there. Beautiful, old buildings, a lot of them obviously need to be, renovated, but you're outside, there's grass, you're not coming out of a building and you're surrounded by pavement and, the drug dealers are right there. This is more of a place where, you can sit and be, surrounded by nature and, there's farmland there because obviously a program like this, they should, what's happening?
Go ahead, it's just me. I'm fixing this microphone. This microphone's, years ago, my granddaughter dropped this thing on the floor. And it should be all better now.
And we know our granddaughters can do anything
They
and get
can do
away with
anything
it.
they want, yep.
You ever notice how they
Yeah.
gambling, Tom, they'll say, call this number if you have a gambling problem?
Yeah.
You never see it for alcohol. You never see it. Why? Because alcohol is very popular.
Yeah.
I mean, think of how many people love to drink.
Yeah.
And they can handle it, have a couple and go home, But alcoholism to me is, I watched it in prison. They come, like I said, a lot of homeless kids would get in trouble. They come to jail. Normally, I didn't see those people because state prison, you got to be sentenced for something over 2.5 years. So the county jail, I mean, they could be doing a whole lot more, too, about this issue. I mean, we already got that building. Not that, see, incarceration isn't the answer, but when they're down, ready to die, ready to get that phone call, the parent, your son's dead, he just overdosed, come and get him. You're better off sometimes to be incarcerated for a short time, because the human body in 3 months can come back almost 100%, but it's the mind. It's the mind.
And I know Karla, you make a
Bobby,
lot of
you wanna
good
read
points.
this one, please?
We have to change the law on patient rights. They can't think straight with all the alcohol and drugs. They should lose their rights. Also, start asking for an ID when using the EBT card. And I always answer all those things like that. Stop going after the homeless, go after the drug dealers.
Yes.
I'm going to shut the microphone off
Period.
just a second. So I asked Scott off the microphone, see if we could ask him a few questions. So Scott, you were born, good little boy, and what happened to you? If you can lean into the mic a little bit, that'd be
Sure,
good.
absolutely. I mean, I'll get right to it. You know, when I was a teenager, a young teenager, 15, 16 years old, I was always riddled with whether it was fear, anxiety, some sort of a feeling that I was always a very shy kid. I was very shy in school. I stuttered a lot, so I was very uncomfortable in my own skin. And when I took my first sip of alcohol, I could breathe. And I felt okay when I took that sip. And that led to a lot more sips. And I started drinking heavily at about 15, 16 years old. I was drinking heavy, and I ended up dropping out of high school, and my alcohol had really got the best of me. And the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, it talks about a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And that's kind of what it was like for me. When I didn't have alcohol in my system, I was a very loving, just a good, genuine man. And I would put alcohol into my system and wake up with 3 assault and batteries, and I'm looking at the judge, and the judge is sending me to Billerica House of Correction, and I'm not too sure why, because I don't remember what I did while I was drunk. And again, you guys said that, it's a mind, it centers in the mind, and that's exactly
So you go
what
to
it is.
jail.
Yes,
I'm going to move you right along.
please do.
So you go to jail. So in jail, what happens?
In jail, the dust settles. I feel better.
Okay, so you get out of jail.
Yep,
What happens then?
I run right back to it.
And so you run right back to it. So now you're married, you got kids.
Yeah.
So they've already suffered through
Well,
that part of it.
Not the first. I ended up getting married with kids after my Billerica sentence.
So okay, so you got lucky. You found a beautiful woman,
Yeah.
had a couple of kids with her, but you still kept drinking.
Yeah.
And so continue with your story. I'm
Sure.
going to keep, because we only have a certain amount of
Yeah,
time.
yeah. No, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Absolutely. I again, there was just always a thinking problem. There was always a void that I was trying to fill, whether it was through my wife, whether it was through my kids. I thought my kids were going to keep me sober. I thought, my job was going to keep me sober. Getting a nice car was going to keep me sober. And I always found after all those things, there was still an emptiness in my soul. So that's what would continue to get me to drink. I was looking for these material things. I was looking for human beings. I was looking for
Okay,
some
so you
sort of a
kept getting drunk.
circumstance.
So what
Yes.
happened then? Well, because eventually you end up living on the common, but
Eventually, yes. I ended up, drugs and alcohol. and
alcohol
drugs became
didn't
a
do
part
it
of the
anymore.
story.
So you went to
Correct.
drugs, or did you break your leg and you started off on pain pills?
Well, I actually got into a dirt bike accident with my uncle, and they put me on a prescription called Vicodin. Yeah, and when I ate the Vicodin, the way it made me feel was, I want more. I want more. I ate the 30-day prescription in probably about 8 days, and I ended up turning to the streets. There was OxyContin at that time, Oxy 80s, and those became too expensive. So that turns to bigger and better things. Heroin is a lot less costly than Oxy 80s. And it just progressively got worse. It progressively got worse, and then I ended up, having DCF involved in my life for my children, and drugs and alcohol. Man, having this mind, having this is a very powerful thing, and nothing can get in the way of it.
So you're on drugs, but you're still living with your wife and your kids.
I'm still living with them. They end up getting, the state ends up getting involved. My wife fell victim to this illness as well. Thank God for my beautiful mother, Karen Landry. She ended up taking the kids.
Kyle, can you give him, his mic just cranked out, so just give me your mic, will you? Oh, Tommy's, I don't care, you just need another mic.
Sure.
That's good. Continue.
Okay. So yeah, it progressively got worse. Me and my wife fell victim to it as well. She was an alcoholic as well, and it just got worse. We ended up, my mom had to take custody of the kids because we weren't fit to parent at that time, which I can honestly say as a man today was very true. That caused a lot of pain for me. I ended up using recklessly, and couldn't afford to pay for housing or anything like that. So we ended up homeless and running around these very streets, and Actually, that little concrete slab over there.
So
it's
now you
about
and your wife
20
are
steps
homeless?
away.
You and
Yeah.
your wife are homeless?
Yeah,
And your kids are with your mom?
yeah,
And you're living across the street on the common?
yeah.
And how did you get through your day over there? Why did you pick the common?
It was next to the church, and you know, I'd go to the church, I'd get some food. You know, we'd spend a couple days there. I did spend some nights at the shelter as well over there on what's that?
Middlesex.
Middlesex Street. Yeah, I just was very, you know, you packed in there like sardines. You got, you know, someone right within inches of you sleeping next to you. So it was just, yeah, you know, I'd prefer to be outside. And I,
So you're living on the common, you and your wife are living on the common, and is that the end of the story? Then you found, you found...
that's virtually the end of the story. I was suicidal at one point. You know, I didn't want to live no more. The pain. I would remove the drugs and alcohol from my system, and I would feel the guilt, shame, and remorse. And what that led to was you know, a lot of mental health issues as well. You know, with this stuff, man. And I didn't want to live anymore. So a failed suicide attempt. I crawled into BMC. I had told the doctor, you know, what was going on. They got me help, and at that point, I surrendered. I asked God to do for me what I couldn't do for myself. I was introduced to, you know, God kind of was 10 steps ahead the whole time. He put the right people in front of me, and here I am today.
I have to leave right now, but I wanted to leave. Thank you, Karla, for being here. I have to go to work. But, Scott, you just said something that I felt the 20 years that I worked in prisons and dealt with a lot of issues like this. Religion seems to step in as about 1/3 of the whole problem. That's when I see someone sober, they just live in a much cleaner life. You can tell by just looking at them. So congratulations on what you're doing, and maybe you'll get as big as the Bridge program in Lowell someday, because a lot of the things you're talking about, we have a place in Lowell that we're very lucky to have. It's called the Bridge. You must know that
Yes.
place,
The Bridge
right?
Club.
Yeah,
I'm on the
Bridge
board of
Club.
directors.
Well, thank you for coming in. I gotta go, okay?
See you,
you.
Bobby.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Bobby.
Now,
So, Scott, were you lucky enough to keep your marriage together? Or no?
No, but for good reason.
How are your kids doing?
3.
How are your kids doing?
Oh.
How did they, I mean, now that
today
you're
we're
out of
doing-
it and you're healthy,
I'm actually a grandfather now.
well, that's not like that.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Tommy, drag that mic to you, please.
Yeah.
So did your kids go down the same path as you?
No. My
So
kids are...
that's good. It wasn't like father, like son. That's good.
Right. Well, we hope not. Right, because they're still young. I have an 18-year-old who decided to have a child.
Well, it's a fun thing to do. You know that.
Oh, it's great. It's great. I have a little granddaughter who can, you know, never has to see me drunk. You know, it's a beautiful thing. It's a
well,
blessing.
going backwards, if you had to do all over again,
Yeah.
what personally should you have done differently? And
See you, Bobby.
process that answer, because I want to ask Karla about her election.
Sure. I'll process
Before
that.
we do that, I got to read this text. And the text says, I applaud you, comrade, for having Scott on as a guest. Hopefully the city manager and the city council saw and listened to the story about homeless addiction. I hope Lori Trahan watches this, because it's hard to believe until you actually hear the story.
I just had one question for Scott.
One more text. Respectfully, there are resources available, but if people don't want to go, you can't force them. Good point. Okay, Tommy, thank you.
You said your wife was in the same situation as you, and you're not together. You didn't get back together after this when you got sober. Both of these are sober now.
She's not doing too well. She's been battling for
Oh,
some,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so I'm in the midst of divorce, but
Okay.
it was,
So she's not involved with your program that you're running.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I'm going to. Okay.
yeah.
So, Karla,
Yes.
your election. Tell us, before we run out, because we got 15 minutes left.
Okay, but real quick, I just want to say that Dan Rourke, the Lowell City Council, you know, they're trying with this homeless situation, and you know, they can only do so much. So I just want to put that in there. But so the election, you know, I don't know what it's going to take in this state for people to realize that we are one of the, you know, we're usually in the top 3 in the country for one of the worst states to live in for a multitude of reasons. And I tried to sound the alarm. I gave people an option, when they went to vote, and they just didn't go for it. I mean, one of the things, I saw that Ed Kennedy put out there was he put out postcards with, on the postcards was everything that he got money for in the district, in the 1st Middlesex district. And I have someone that I speak to that used to work, down at the State House. And I run a lot of things by him. And there was an article that I'm trying to find that was in the Lowell Sun that, had a list of, what Ed Kennedy got, what money he got for the
Okay.
district. And this person that I talked to, he said, that's just, that's average. That's average for a state senator. And a lot of people don't realize, too, especially like for the schools, there's a formula, okay? There's a formula, and so each city and each state get a certain amount of money. And that's only part of the job. So when people say, well, I'm voting for this person because he got money for this and he got money for that, and you also have to look at what did he get money for, and should he have gotten money for this organization and that organization, or should it have gone to somebody that needed it more? So people need to look at how they're voting at the State House. What are they voting for? And in my opinion, they are not voting in our best interest. And as long as we're a one-party ruled state, it's not going to change. So if you're okay with high taxes and high inflation, and inflation started at the federal level, but we have some of the highest inflation in the country, again, in the top 3. So the only way the state is going to turn around if people stop thinking about, well, I'm a Democrat, and I'm a loyal Democrat, and I've always been a Democrat, so I'm always going to vote that way. The only way to move the party, and it's the Progressive Democrat Party, back to the center, is to start voting for other people in other parties. And that brings me to the Republican Party, which is a failure right now in this state, I believe. The GOP is now, for the second time, being run by...
I don't know how to shut that off. That's his phone.
I know. I did not get a lot of help from the Republican Party, and the Republican voters have thrown up their hands. They've surrendered in this state. They have given up, which I think is very sad, because we had a chance if we could have gotten enough money and enough help. A lot of people are fed up with what's going on in the state, and they're fed up with being second-class citizens, second to the people that are brought in from other countries, and are are able-bodied people, unlike the homeless who, are struggling and having a hard time. We have people that are living in hotels and that they have taken our tax money.
That's irritating.
That's their tax money. It's because I'm speaking, that's why. And they turned our tax money over to...
All you said is
yeah.
absolutely correct. And,
Yeah.
and I always say it, no matter if and I like Ed Kennedy, nice guy, Rodney Allen, but if Tom Bomil was the state senator, if Scott Landry was the state senator, he would have brought that money in. I'm going to use the example as the Rourke Bridge. If you were the state senator, that money's not going away. That was earmarked for that
Why
bridge.
hasn't it? Yeah.
And you're going back to the Republican Party. It's almost the same old with you people, too. You saw Lombardo wanted to be the minority leader. They wouldn't even look at him. They couldn't do change there.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
And that's
And
a
there's
shame.
retaliation.
Change is good.
He would
What?
have been
It's
great.
retaliation for voting for the other guy.
Change
Yeah.
is good.
And I also want to bring up the Lowell Sun, who works against. Okay, they work
Oh, don't even
against
get
the
me with this,
Republican,
yeah.
the Republican candidate.
Yeah.
They are unfair. Melanie Gilbert was, is assigned to Lowell. She they did not print my announcement. They did not even print my announcement to run. They did not print anything. I sent 5 or 6 articles in. They did not print them. And they print everything. I mean, she's like,
All the Sun does
Yeah.
is, like, I'm going to use the example of Corey Robinson, a
Mm-hmm.
few other people who've had some bad times, and they ridicule it, and they make fun of it. They don't even do, they call them this weekend, there was an article about the Olympia. Now, I don't know if you saw it on Facebook, but the Olympia restaurant is going to finally reopen. He posted something, he's finally,
Okay.
and they on Sunday were knocking the guy because it's not going to reopen. It's just they don't do their homework, you know? And
you
a
can
lot of
say
people.
that
Tell me,
again,
you said
yeah.
that's going to reopen? Tell us more.
He put it. I can't. If you want to look on Facebook, he put an announcement.
believe you.
Adi Tingus. That he talked about. He's finally the sole owner. I guess they must have come to some agreement. That was the issue. I guess he was a co-owner with somebody, and it sounds like he's got full control of the restaurant. So it sounds like it's going to reopen. I don't know when, but
but
you know,
yeah,
they just love to ridicule
Well,
people. And,
quite frankly,
Scott,
Adi
Mark
Tingus-
Crapman,
Adi-
our friend Mark Crapman, I just want to say one word. Mark Crapman, he had a very bad personal issue happen before the pandemic, and they constantly knocking, and he's made full as far as what he's done for the community. Wasn't right what he did. You know, under the influence, second offense, but they just ridicule people and knock people when they're down, you know, so.
And there's totally one side of it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a progressive newspaper. But getting back to the Republican Party, you know, we have the rhinos, Republicans in name only, are running the party right now. And they're, for them not to be able, not to, you know, I did get help from the head state committee man, Brad Wyatt. He helped me with, you know, Facebook and Google putting ads and things like that out there. But as far as helping, you know, with postcards or anything like that, which is really important because people get the postcard, they touch the postcard, they have it in their hand. I got no help at all, so I was...
Any money?
No.
No.
Their interest is getting, their main interest is getting a governor in. And the governor that they're thinking of putting up, the person they're thinking of putting up for to run for governor now, is worked for Charlie Baker, and he's another rhino, and he's the one that came up with the bill to have the MBTA communities. And to me, I mean, that's one of the worst ideas that administration came up with, not to mention, you know, what else that administration did. So we're in a lot of trouble, the Republican Party in this state.
Look at how the voters who overwhelmingly approved Diane DeZoglio's, and they're ignoring her. And
Total disrespect.
Yeah. They're
They
ignoring her.
have
I don't get-
contempt for the
Yeah,
voters.
yeah,
They totally
But
disrespect
the
the
thing is,
voters.
Karla, they're all going to be reelected next year. Nobody cares.
I
It's
don't
just, you know,
understand.
yeah.
I don't understand when people pay their taxes, when people go to the grocery store. Why aren't they thinking? I guess they think everyone's in the same boat, but then they're not. This country is turning around, and we're going to miss the boat. We are going to miss. Hopefully,
Thank
some
God
of
we
the,
finally have a president. That's all I'm going to say.
I know.
That's the good news.
Yeah.
I might have to pull a Trump and run.
I know. I mean, it's it really discourages people from running. I mean, I did it twice, and there were others that did it twice as well. Because we really felt like, okay, this is the time. Finally, people have to be fed up, and we were wrong. But I would have done it again because you don't know unless you try.
I mean, I used to be so against term limits, but now I'm starting to think that might be a good idea. Term limits where, you know, and maybe even if you made it a grandfather term limit where, okay, let's say we're calling Gary's been there forever, she wouldn't be, but when she goes, the next person can only serve 3 terms or whatever. You know.
Tell me there's no mindset down the State House to change the laws. You got 2 texts here, Tom.
They are doing everything they can do. No one uses that excuse for the migrants. The migrants seem to get everything they need and more. Did the Republicans lose 2 more seats in the House, 27 down to 25, and gain 1 in the Senate, 3 up to 4? Do you know the
They
answer?
gained 1 in the Senate,
All right.
and I don't think they lost any. I think they let's see, there were 4 new state reps, but they took the place of 4 other Republicans that.
Okay.
So slide it back over to Scott because we got 5 minutes.
Scott.
Yeah.
You can, yeah. Good.
So Scott, what would help somebody who was living on the common to turn over and start a better life? What are some of the things that a family should watch for? Because, I mean, what happens is you burn your family out. When I come home from work and the dishwasher's gone. Where's the dishwasher, honey? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know where the dishwasher's gone? Where is it? I don't know, Dad. I don't know. I heard some noise. You walk in and the TV's gone off the wall. Honey, where's the TV set? I don't know, Dad. I was sleeping. So eventually, and by that you burn your family out. Your family get out of here. Get out of my house.
Yeah, the best.
So you burn your family out, and now all of a sudden you light your own torch and you're going in a good direction. What are some of the things that families should look for that their kids are turning around?
Sure. Yeah. And the first thing I'll say is the best thing my mother ever said to me was, listen, kid, you got to go, you know. And it was the best thing, boundaries. Boundaries are the most important thing, you know. And again, accountability is very, very important, you know. But anyway, also, you know, when you do sense that change, you know, in your loved one, you know, they come home from work and they're more irritable lately, or why are they gone, you know, getting home late hours, you know, often, or whatever it may be, that, you know, you'll sense that change in your loved one. You know your loved one best when you sense that change. Nip it in the bud immediately, you know. Reach out for help, call somebody for help. And I know sometimes that can be tough to do, you know, to find the right person that you can trust, but find the right person that's been through this before that you can talk to and communicate with. Support, you know, is extremely necessary, and, you know, my heart goes out for the individuals that struggle alone, you know, that are alone, that are too afraid to reach out for help and ask for help.
So just back up the bus. So it was a good thing that your mother kicked you out of the house.
It was a great thing.
And that was the first step for your recovery?
Yeah, I mean, it
Or
was the
a little
first.
bit-
It was the first step toward homelessness and pain and more of what I needed to become willing to humble myself, to listen to somebody and get help.
Comment from the audience. Good luck, Scott. Every day's a new day.
Every day is a new day, fresh
I'm
24.
shot, Tom. You've got 3 minutes tops.
Okay. I'll tell you a quick story about it. There's such a thing as what they call a functioning alcoholic, where you can drink every day, but you're not like a drunk. Is that such a term?
And you keep a job,
I had a
right?
friend of mine, I had a friend of mine.
Functioning alcoholic.
Yeah, somebody that can
Someone
drink.
who keeps a
They're
job,
not,
yeah.
Right. And he
Delusional.
He drank a lot, and I was out with him one night, and I left him, and he hit a car.
Yeah.
A car hit him. And I called his wife, and she says, I'm not coming out. I can't do this anymore. I went to the hospital to help him out and get him, she's like, I've done it too many times. I'm sure you've heard that story, what you said about your mother.
Yeah.
And he straightened out, and they lived to be a ripe old age, and he finally straightened out, and and it's just one of those personal stories that I'll always remember. But I'm glad you came on. I hope you come on again.
I'd love to.
Yanni, you said you know about the Bridge Club. I mentioned I'm on the board of directors there. Do you know Bob Cox that runs that group down there at the Bridge
I
Club?
actually need to go over there and connect. Yeah,
Oh,
maybe
good.
I can
Great.
grab your number afterwards.
Yeah.
And we can go over there and connect. I'd love to.
But yeah, and Karla, you're always welcome to come back. You're the other side.
I'll book them before they go out the door.
Yeah,
Thank
I know,
you.
you're the booker. Well, you go on tomorrow, John. You usually post that up there.
Now I forgot. I got
Yeah,
talking to Scott, and his
You know, it's
story is
Linda.
just,
I'll be back tomorrow too.
You know it's Linda bound.
just so interesting.
No, this is one of the better shows. Very interesting. We had this gentleman on. Remember that? Was he a DEA? What was he? A officer that Bobby brought in? Remember, John? He was great. Danny,
Mickey O'Keefe's son,
yeah.
And he was here telling us about how they're making drugs that look like pills that they really aren't.
Well, I've always said that I learned something from watching the show. I record it or watch it live every day, and I learn something. And that's why, John, have you ever tried advertising on Facebook? Because it's pretty cheap to do that. I found. It's really why you get a bigger.
I'll be advertising you today. Don't worry.
I mean, it's
Tomorrow we got Corey Belanger's coming, And Danny Rourke's coming tomorrow.
The mayor.
Good,
Yep,
good.
and Linda Bound's the host, so
So-
that's tomorrow's show. Thanks for asking.
30 seconds. Thank
Hey,
you
say
all.
goodbye, kids.
See you next week.
Thank you.
See you
Bye-bye.
next time. And that's where we should send the homeless. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
Danny,
Mickey O'Keefe's son.
son. Yeah.
And he was here telling us about how they're making drugs look like pills that they really aren't.
Well, I've always said that I learned something from watching the show. I record it and or watch it live every day, and I learn something. And that's why, John, have you ever tried advertising on Facebook? Because it's pretty cheap to do that. Nah. It's really, why?